Hello and welcome. My name is Yana the Heretic, and this is my channel, The Unpopular Opinion Becoming Popular. And today we're going to talk about the new gate in transit. It started on March 18th around 9 a.m., and it's going to be filtering through the 24th. And we have a new archetype on the horizon, and that is Archangel Michael. And Archangel Michael, I personally have known to call upon the archangels when something is lost or I need protection or guidance in a certain area of my life. And Michael is known to be a saint and one that protects specifically from history the Israelites, or protects people from the evils or Satan, and is portrayed as a fierce protector of justice. So with all of that said, the saint is somebody who is innocent, right? This is the gate within our G center that's called the spirit of the self, and its theme is innocence. So we are actually in the halfway point of our quarter of initiation, and this is an individual gate in the G center. So that's all about how we perceive our own identity, how we act upon our own identity. And since this is initiating the mind, it is therefore being able to remain innocent no matter what happens. So that means that you are vulnerable, that you aren't shifting your standards or your beliefs towards anything or anyone, or what other people want you to think or what other people want you to say. This is very much what looks like the age of not lowering yourself down to other people's levels, basically. And innocence just completely transcends that. It is the way that we perceive the world when we were children. So we don't know who to love. Or let's say we don't know why we should love a certain person more than another. We see people as people and they look a certain way, and then we get shaped by our conditioning of what is perceived as bad and what is perceived as good for the most part. People with this gate, they tend to transcend past that and they just are unapologetically what they are. So that means that no matter what other people think, they're going to still be vulnerable, or they're still going to share their vast opinion, or they're there to inspire a different perspective, or they just act, It's not really like a belief or a fear or hope or superstition or a spell that they have to do in order to hold themselves within the form. They are the form already, and as long as they stick to their authority and their integrity, they will always be true to what happens in the moment for them. And this is very much a shamanic gate, so that is why Archangel Michael comes into play here for our ability to initiate the mind. It is really teaching us how to be the spiritual warrior. It's really teaching us how to be strong and unshakable within our presence, no matter who we are with, no matter what happens. Just being able to face your fear and to be able to walk into the unknown and just remain okay. Of course, there is a downside to this. There is also the believer, the preacher, the one that thinks they know better, the one that forces you to have the same perspective on how to fight evil. And it's always seemingly an evil that has a form that is outside of themselves. It's never an internal evil that everybody universally shares. So we're all made of the same dust, and we have to remind ourselves about that. We have to remind ourselves that we all bleed and we are all capable of having very similar experiences no matter where we are put in life or in our environment around us. So that is why it's also called the vessel of love or the vessel of blood, because it is that holy symbolic totem that signifies the spirit, and spirit being blood. We all are the same because we all are consisted of the same things. And therefore there is no judgment, right? For the shaman and for the saint. They accept anybody into their quarters and help anybody that asks for help. And in order to be that way, in order to be the 25 in our identity, it is really heavily initiating because it teaches us to forgive people. It teaches us to reach out and to be able to release this agony, this grief, this heaviness upon our soul because we have a story and we have all things dialed in and stacked on top of each other of why we're hurt and why, this person is so different from us. And we just don't understand, right? We don't understand how to work with that. We don't understand why other things are more or less important. When we're 25. But people treat plants differently. People treat animals differently. We have these opinions about things. We have these desires and likes and dislikes. And when it comes down to the 25, they have compassion for everything around them. They have compassion for this flower, for this animal, for the person on the street begging for help. And they want to identify with that thing. They want to make and work with it. They want to make an identification with it. So I personally am super stoked that we're in this transit. I think that it's very helpful to feel that surrender, to feel the surrender of like, oh, maybe I could forgive that, maybe I could just rise above my own perceived pathways, and be able to be centered. This is a part of the centering circuit of the individual, which means that all of our thoughts, they're allowed to just pass by us. They're allowed to not pin us down to a certain belief about anything. This is being able to face your own fear. This is being able to be strong in facing the thought and being like, that's ridiculous. Let me just like toss that away. It doesn't affect me at all. And there we are, centered as individuals. And we are extremely individual because we learn about ourselves. So obviously, that takes a lot of experience being in your vehicle, being in your experience with life to gain this shamanic or warrior perspective. So, there's work to be done, and some of us walk this path naturally. And this is definitely a time to universalize and transcend, all that is creating limitations and restrictions for us. And being okay with just guiding yourself through this energy. So that was gate 25 for you. I'm going to have some questions for you all. Who do you know that is totally comfortable with all types of people? Do you ever wonder if they're being too accepting to strangers? Some people get very cliquey, right? They don't want to be wasting their time. They just want to have a good time in their, like tribal group or party, So how can we like shake that up? What have your limitations prevented you from doing? Did you pretend that you were not hurt and let someone misunderstand you over and over again? Did you pretend that you didn't love as hard as the other person to achieve this coolness? Aha! There's tons of emotions for me in that department. What shamanic hero is in your life? Who do you look up to when you're unable to forgive? Do you seek advice, or do you remain pretending that you aren't heavy in life? Yeah. What type of people make you feel like you have to hide? Journal about how you can remain truthful to your integrity in order to either inspire or be on your way out. There's this ode to surrender, and I don't want to use this word too often, but this is the time to use it. And surrender means identify what is true and speak that into existence, and therefore find your place. And be okay with that shit. Be okay with that shit. And that will be all for this week. I wish you well.